about togetherness and we talk about alliances, you know, we're going again now into, we're going from Venezuela to a lovely Argentinian lady who has the purpose and has the vision and has the mission to bring her incredible abilities. She's like, I would say the brain inside of her head should be this big, because she is just like strategy and innovation. And you speak to her and her visions and her missions of what she wants to do, but you can feel it from her soul as well, because it's all about leading the next generation. It's all about bringing technology. It's about bringing it all together. And I just feel every single person that comes into Hip Talks, every single person that comes into this vibration, this field, is there for the new world, there to make a difference. So thank you, Ariana, for being with us so much. And I now give you your 8 minutes, my love.
Amazing. I already got my, you can go now, but that was purposeful. Silence, it can be so scary. One of the main sentences this year has been, hey, you're on mute. Like something's like absolutely wrong, right? Because for some reason we all need to fill in the gap of silence. Why? I mean, silence is beautiful. The problem of silence is that silence is beautiful as long as we can choose to be silent. That was a little social experiment. I wanted to see how many seconds it would take for someone to say, hey, you should go speak. 20 seconds. Some 15, 20 years ago, someone came to me and said, with that accent, you're not gonna get far. I can still remember those words. I can close my eyes and hear the vibration of that voice telling me that with this accent, I wouldn't make it far. And look where I am today. But that's the problem. The problem is not understanding that an accent is not necessarily how you speak, right? It's not how you pronounce your words. I mean, when that person told me that with this accent, I wouldn't make it very far, I thought that he knew best. He was my boss. He was in this powerful position. I was an immigrant. He was a local. Of course, he knew best. He had the ability to silence me. That silence was not a beautiful silence. I was scared. I started to become very self-conscious. Silence can be very scary. Until one day I moved to another job, and there was this lady that everyone was afraid of. She was one of those like clients that people like just think that they are mean, right? Because they are just open and they share their thoughts without like the need to be politically correct. They're just like, you know, these like open minds and hearts that just like speak their minds. And everyone was afraid of like me presenting because they knew my content was spot on. The content was great. But they knew that I had this thing about like presenting, you know, I basically was on mute. The presentation was over the phone. So the presentation started, and as I start talking, the client goes on silence. And then the entire room freaked out, like something really wrong probably just happened. And she came back and said to me, I'll never forget, oh, who's that? I love that accent. It was such a pivotal time in my life. It was that inflection point that brought me back, gave me my voice back. And since that day, I became unstoppable. But that's the point. The point is that your accent is not really how you speak. Yes, it's everything, of course. It's my language, it's my body language, it's the words that I say, but it's how I behave. It's what I do. You know, it's how I care about others, how I care about my job. It's that accent that you put onto things. And it's also your voice. Because like all the time that we share that idea or that like reference of like, it's your accent, it's like your DNA. And yeah, it's like your DNA. But did you know that your voice as well is as unique as your DNA? That there are no two voices that are the same in the entire world? That our voices are unique? Think about that and how powerful that is. And it's powerful just because our voices, if that's the case, is what make us different. And different is beautiful. Different is absolutely beautiful. I just took note of what Eglantina said. She said her mother told her, don't hold back because of the language that you speak. Of course not. The fact that I have an accent means that at least I speak another language. Just go with your accent. My invitation here today is, if you have the power to be silent, don't be afraid of it. Silence can be beautiful as long as it's, your choice. But go and embrace that thing that's your accent, that's your voice, that makes you so different. Because that's how we stand out. Who wants to be the same? So that's my invitation. My invitation to all of us is to understand that there is no other thing than our own personas, our voices, our way of doing things, and our freedom to choose when to silence. So to that end, I have no idea how much time I have left, but I'm going to choose to go on silence until Vikki jumps in. And I'm going to try to be as confident as I can, because I know how hard and how uncomfortable silence make everyone around us, to a point where I cannot hear you. You are all on mute. So think about that. And this environment in particular that has put us in a place where we are actually speaking to ourselves. That's what, this COVID has done to us. We are always talking to our mirrors. That never happened before. We used to see people reacting to us talking. Now you're in silence and I cannot read you. I cannot feel you. So I'm going to go in silence with my eyes open, because meditation and silence with your eyes closed, that's a bit easier actually. But I'm going to go and I'm going to feel like very confident of just like looking at the camera and thinking and trying to picture all of you looking at the camera and thinking about this conversation. Nice meeting you all.
Well, I was going to be a bit naughty then. I was going to think, let's just keep the silence there and we'll just let it keep going for another 20 minutes and see how long that takes. But thank you for sharing that story, because it's our accent is part of us, isn't it? And I'm just so pleased I can speak 3 languages. So, I'm around all these bilingual people. So I can speak English, I can speak American, and I can speak Australian. And that's what I say. I'm just like so grateful that I can also speak 3 languages. No, but I am meant to be learning Spanish, and it won't be very long. It won't be very long, but it's part of you, and it's belief, and it's trust, and it's the confidence to actually be who we are. And this is what you're doing, and this is what you're doing in the world to inspire so many people. So thank you. Hope, inspiration, and transformation all the way around the world.